Hey guys, welcome to day 3 of Yoga Off the Mat. This is yoga for your brain, guys. So this 30-day challenge is to get you doing things that are going to help up-level your life using some of the tools that I teach in my Yoga for the Brain program. So today, day 3 is Satya. And Satya is the next yama, and it's all about honesty. And I want to talk about honesty with yourself today. So I want to talk about self-stories. So we all have tons of stories, and really our lives are shaped by our stories. And so many of us think that our stories are just how we are wired. But here's the truth. We are all really wired the same way. All of our brains are wired the same way. We are wired for survival. That is why we so quickly go into fight or flight. We are wired for safety. So our brains are always going to be looking for that safety piece. We are also wired to reproduce. And we are wired for comfort and for pleasure. So again, our brain is always looking to be comfortable, to preserve that energy for later when it may need it for survival. Okay, so if we aren't actually wired from what we think we are, then why are we all so different? And we're also different because of the stories that we are telling ourselves. And here's the thing, the stories that you're telling yourself may or may not be serving you. And some of these stories that aren't serving you are actually creating your current reality. So if you don't like your current reality, or you want your current reality to shift or change, one of the best ways you can do it is by changing your stories. And all your stories are a collection of your thoughts. So I've got a really easy, simple process, 3 steps that I'm going to take you through to start to change some of your stories. So if you have a current story where you feel like you are not capable, as the example, this is going to create lots of situations where you are not capable. That's how this works. It's actually that simple. So if you want to be and feel capable, you have to have thoughts that align with the capacity of being capable. So step 1, create new thoughts that serve you. That's simple. Now, people will often come to me and be like, well, where do I find them? You find them in your own brain, guys. They're inside of there. You might have to ask yourself some questions and get curious. Sometimes I'll look at someone else who I admire and I'll be like, why do I admire them? Okay, so that is the thought I need, is I need something similar to what I see in that person, right? You can take thoughts from other people, but the ones that are going to work best are the ones that you come up with yourself. And if you're really, if you're struggling with coming up with these thoughts, that's where coaching is absolutely amazing, because together we come up with lots of fantastic thoughts from your brain, and get you seeing and believing and finding proof from these new thoughts. Okay, so step 1 is you got to go into your own brain and create some new thoughts. Step 2 is you have to practice them over and over and over. And step 3 is you have to just let your brain go to work. Okay, so there is a little bit more in each of those steps. So right in step 1, create new thoughts. So right now, if you have a thought that you are not capable or something isn't working, right, you very likely want a thought like, I am capable. Now, if you just stop there, you're going to be missing a really important piece in this process. So the piece is you have to, from that thought, create a feeling in your body, a vibration. So a sensation that matches the thought. Now, if you're having a lot of resistance, then that just means you need a little help working through getting to the right thought. You might have gone 2 steps in advance. And again, that's what we do in one-on-one coaching. That's what we do in yoga for your brain. Okay, here's the other key ingredient in this first step is you have to write it down. You have to get it out of your brain and put it on paper. It's so important. We think we can just do all of this in our heads, but the power happens when you get it out of your brain, you write it out, right? You see it, and then you create that vibration, that feeling in your body to make it happen. Okay, so step 1, you're going to create a new thought, right? So you're going to start to begin to create a new story. You're going to stop lying to yourself, right? A lot of us don't see it this way, but it really is. And how you know you are lying to yourself is because if every single person in this planet does not agree with you, it's not a truth, guys. It's just an opinion. It's a perspective that you currently have that may or may not be serving you. Step 2 is rinse and repeat, right? So now that you have this new thought and you have it written out, you have to practice it over and over and over. And I really highly suggest get super creative. So one of the things I do is I make my new thoughts, my screensaver on my phone. So every time my phone pops open, I get to see that new thought. Some of my clients use sticky notes, and other people will write things on their mirror. Like, you have to find what's going to work best for you, but you got to keep going back to the new thought. Create the feeling in your body. Because what happens is if we just write it out and we don't remind ourselves, we're not growing this new story, right? It's just kind of living there. We're not feeding it. And think about any animal on this planet, even any plant. In order for it to grow, we have to constantly be feeding it. And the third step is you're going to just let your brain go to work. And when I say let your brain go to work, you have to allow yourself to find proof that it's true. So here's an example that happened with one of my clients. She did not believe that she was capable of making money in her new business. And she just didn't think she could stay committed and show up as much as she needed to. So we had to go into her brain and see how she's been committed in other ways. Now, she is a yogi and she practices yoga 3 days a week. She meditates every day, and I helped her see that she has created consistency for herself personally in her life. So she has 100% the capacity, right, to do this for her business. Now, if this is a goal for your business, you can maybe apply the same example, but maybe if you're trying to lose weight, right, or trying to improve your relationship with your spouse, or whatever it is you're working on, you have to allow your brain to find proof that this new story also is true. Okay, so here's the 3 steps for today's yoga off the mat lesson, Satya, which is honesty, right? Being honest with yourself and giving up the lies that no longer serve you. Step 1, create a new thought. Step 2, practice it. And step 3, let your brain go to work. All right, let us know in the group how it's going. Roxana, thanks for signing on with me and listening and staying on. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Namaste.